After the defeat in Naples, Juventus wants to get back on the winning track against Sampdoria. The young Alex Del Piero scores the lead after about 40 minutes with this impressive long-range shot. Up to now, Juventus had only needed one goal in each of its two-season victories. But against the attack-minded 1991 champions, they were not satisfied with that and preferred to play it safe. Del Piero was also involved in the second goal. After a pass from Vialli, who played against his former club, Fabrizio Ravanelli, nicknamed the White Feather, scored his first goal of the season to make it 2-0. And Sampdoria actually managed to reduce the deficit. After a cross from Ivani on the left, who scored twice in last week's 3-3 draw against Foggia, the marking in the middle was not right, and the Englishman David Platt, who had moved from Juventus to Sampdoria in the summer of 1993, was able to score the goal. But they were unable to equalize, and the 3 points remained in Turin. Inter celebrates its first important home win of the season against promoted Fiorentina. Dennis Bergkamp had already left the field in the first half due to injury. Marco Del Vecchio came on for him, and the 21-year-old striker put his team ahead with a precise left-footed shot. Ruben Sosa tried several times during the game with his feared left-footed shot, but either missed the goal or was denied by Toldo. After a cross from the left, he got his head to the ball. Once again, Toldo was able to save initially, but he had no chance against the rebound from close range. The Uruguayan thus put the finishing touches on a successful Sunday afternoon for the Nerazzurri. After a disappointing start with 2 draws and a home defeat against Lazio, manager Fabio Capello reshuffled the Milan team in several positions for the match against Cremonese, giving substitute players a chance in the starting lineup. One of them, Paolo Di Canio, scored the early goal for the Champions League winners and 3-time league champions. Shortly before halftime, Giovanni Stroppa, another player who rarely plays for the first team, secured a comfortable halftime lead. Stroppa, who had a strong season last year with Foggia under coach Zdenek Zeman, took advantage of the opportunity to show what he can do and recommended himself for further appearances, although this is likely to remain difficult given the fierce competition. But in the second half, the game took an unexpected turn. The hosts, who had achieved their best finish in Serie A history last year with 11th place, did not give up and came back into the game with this beautiful goal from Floriancic, and you could now see that the champions were a little unsettled after their recent poor results. It was now a hard-fought game in which Milan had to hold their ground. But Cremonese did indeed equalize shortly afterwards. Costa Curta got in Rossi's way and unfortunately deflected the ball into the goal. Milan's furious attacks and substitutions did not result in a third goal. For Cremonese, on the other hand, the point feels like a victory. The home game against European Cup finalists Parma was the expected tough test for league leaders, Lazio. The first goal was a joint effort by 2 former Napoli players who won the championship with Maradona and the Southern Italians in 1990. Gianfranco Zola's cross found Massimo Crippa in the middle, and the midfielder scored his second goal of the season. However, shortly after a foul on Roberto Rambaudi, the hosts were awarded a penalty. In the absence of captain Beppe Signori, Roberto Di Matteo took responsibility and converted confidently. On a good day, Gianfranco Zola is virtually unstoppable. Unfortunately for Lazio, today was one of those days. He also set up the visitors' second goal in exemplary fashion. The goal was scored by Marco Branca, who previously played for Udinese, Sampdoria, and Fiorentina in Serie A. But Lazio responds immediately and equalizes again just before the halftime whistle. Bucci reacts strongly to Alan Boksic's powerful shot, but the ball lands at the feet of striker Casiraghi. Captain Lorenzo Minotti is unable to clear the ball and the score is now 2-2. The fans at the Stadio Olimpico are being treated to some top-class entertainment. The first half was dominated by Zola, but Parma has another star in its ranks who is capable of deciding a game at any moment. Thomas Brolin initiates the attack and then finishes it off perfectly with a precise shot that leaves goalkeeper Marchigiani with no chance. Parma celebrates a very important away win and moves up a few places in the table after 2 recent setbacks. Lazio, on the other hand, loses its place at the top of the table. And as if the defeat wasn't bad enough for Lazio, the new league leaders and beneficiaries of their slip-up are their arch-rivals, Roma. In the match in Reggiana, the Giallorossi secured an away win that was never in doubt. Uruguayan Daniel Fonseca got the ball rolling after a corner from Captain Giannini. Midfielder Massimiliano Capioli continues his run and scores the second goal. Giannini also provides the assist here. In this form, Capioli may once again be considered for the national team, for which he has previously played once, in a 1-0 defeat to France in February 1994. Capioli wasn't done yet and scored the third goal. The goal underscores his excellent current form, but as we know, Arrigo Sacchi has a mind of his own. We'll see who he picks for the next international matches. In any case, Roma are celebrating the midfielder, who has taken the lead in the scoring charts with his 4th goal of the season, and their position at the top of the table with a perfect record after 4 games. The match between Padova and Bari turned out to be an unexpectedly spectacular exchange of blows. The hosts got off to a flying start with this magnificent goal from young Croatian striker Goran Vlahovic, who is also a regular member of his country's national team. Brazilian Gerson Caçapa, who had already played for Bari from 1989 to 1991, after his time at Palmeiras, returned in the summer after 3 years at Fenerbahce and Lecce, and scored the equalizer. Shortly afterwards, Carmine Gautieri even puts the visitors ahead. His shot lands in the near corner. Goalkeeper Adriano Bonaiuti certainly cannot be absolved of blame here. Igor Prati then sealed the away win with his converted penalty. With a strong performance in the second half, this was well-deserved, even though Padova did not give up. The hosts tried everything to turn the game around and got back to 2-3 thanks to Filippo Maniero, but they couldn't manage to equalize. Bari secured their first win of the season. The match between Genoa and Napoli was a very close contest overall. In the end, Massimo Ciacci's fighting spirit decided the game. The striker won the ball back and left Tagliatella with no chance. This secured the 1992 UEFA Cup semi-finalists their first win of the season. For Napoli, the euphoria of their thrilling home victory over arch-rivals Juventus was quickly replaced by disillusionment. After Foggia had been in contention for a UEFA Cup spot for much of the previous season, the team fell apart over the summer. Coach Zeman took Argentine World Cup participant Jose Chamot with him to Lazio. Dutch winger Brian Roy moved to Nottingham Forest, and midfielders Stroppa and Seno joined the two Milan clubs. The newly formed team was unable to turn things around in their home game against Torino. Abedi Pelé scored the only goal of the day. The match between Cagliari and Brescia ended in a goalless draw. Let's take a look at the table after the fourth match day. Roma takes the lead in the table, and Inter is now the closest pursuer. It looks like it's going to be a very exciting season. Milan must win their home game against Brescia, otherwise President Silvio Berlusconi's patience is likely to run out soon. In addition to Milan, 3 other clubs are still waiting for their first win. Roma also tops the list of goal scorers and assists. Next week, they face a tough match against Sampdoria. Lazio are away to Fiorentina. However, the undisputed highlight is the Derby d'Italia between Juventus and Inter. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.